This video is for week 2, activity 1, a continuation of last week on the difference of sum and difference formulas. Today we're going to be looking at some possible sine formulas. And again, they're very similar. The two sine formulas are listed at the top of the page here. And this one's a little bit trickier because we got sine of 75. That's what we're looking for. If I go to my unit circle here, I will see that there is no 75-degree angle. So my job is to come up with two numbers that I can use to either add or subtract to make 75. So I could do things like 60 plus 45, which is 105. That wouldn't work. Or 120 minus 90, that's 30. That wouldn't work. So I could add or subtract any of the numbers that are listed here, trying to find a way to make 75. And what I'm seeing is the 30 and the 45. If I add 30 plus 45, that's 75. That is what I want to use. So I'm going to change that to sine 30 plus 45. So again, I'm changing it because the 75 wasn't one that was on that list at all. So I'm trying to find a way to make 75 using ones that were on the unit circle. All right, so that means I'm going to be using the top formula here because it's the a plus b, and that's what I've got. So that means this is going to become sine of a, and again, a is going to be this first of the two angles. So sine 30, and then times cosine b, and b is the second one in the angles, so that's the 45. And then this one's an add, so I'll be using add as well. So then cosine of a, that's the 30, and then times sine of b, that's the 45. All right, so now I'm going to go back to that unit circle, look up those particular answers. For example, sine of 30. If I go find sine of 30 here, whoops, that was cosine. Cosine is the first one. Sine is the second one. That's a good little reminder. So that means I'm looking for, if I'm doing sine of 30, that's going to be 1/2. So sine of 30 is 1/2. I'll do the same thing for cosine 45, which is square root 2 over 2. Then I'll be adding. I'll do the same thing. Cosine 30, which would be square root 3 over 2. And then sine 45, which is square root 2 over 2. Now I just got to do some computations. Of course, I follow order of operations. I multiply first. So over here on the left, I will multiply 1 times square root 2, and then denominator 2 times 2. Save the add for later and do the other multiply. Numerator square root 3 times 2, square root 6. Denominator 2 times 2 is 4. They do have a common denominator of 4. And if I add the numerators, which I can't actually do, I'll have my answer. So that is how you do this particular set of problems, all sines and cosines. Good luck.